This is the Gala Show. I'm your reporter on the beat, Gala Avery. On this episode, I've got two guests on the mic. You'll know one of my guests as an advocate of Yorkies, a director who has worked on TV shows such as My Dead Ex, Ultraviolet and Black Scorpion, and Creepshow, and the filmmaker behind one of the grossest movies of 2023, Suitable Flesh. You'll know my second guest from her work as an editor on some of your favorite boutique labels. My two guests are not only writing and editing partners, but they are also a husband and wife duo and two people I have been dying to hang out with, Joe Lynch and Rebecca Howard.
Joe Lynch and Rebecca Howard. Hey, Rebecca. Hi, Joe.
Oh my God, that was amazing. That was such a good intro. I feel like I should just die now. That was like.
I mean, you didn't go with the 21st century Garson Kanin and Ruth Gordon label that I just applied to us. So now I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, we're not recording it again.
I know.
Like, that stays. That's final.
Can you imagine
final
the
cut.
ego? Oh, yeah.
You could do that again.
Yeah, please.
Hi, Gala.
Hi. Honestly, I have been waiting to meet you guys because you're a huge fan of the podcast.
We're both
And
huge fans.
Yeah.
We've shared many.
Very starstruck right now.
Many a treadmill running while
Yeah.
listening and going like, can you believe what they just said on the show?
I'll like be laughing to myself at the gym, and like Joe will be looking at me. I'm like, oh, video archives.
Yep.
Like,
do you guys have like a favorite movie that we've covered so far on the on Video Archives?
So you said you weren't going to start with a hardball.
I know that's not even my question. That's
my gosh, favorite one. I mean, there's so many. There's a lot of films I discovered, but I feel like the conversations, I actually prefer listening to the conversations on movies that I haven't seen yet, because when I have seen the movie, I get so like I'm desperate to join in on the conversation and like be a part of it. So it's nicer sometimes to hear your like different takes on movies that I don't know.
I like the discourse when you guys are not all
on the same page.
Yeah,
like, just
definitely
hearing, because there's something about feeling like not like everyone has their own opinion, and you know, like I'm trying to think of, well, Slithis, everyone obviously
love
agreed
Slithis.
that one is a gold mine of goodness. But
Star 80 was a great episode.
Star 80. I still think that the discovery
Lipstick.
of Lipstick is one that we were both running going, we have to watch Lipstick.
No, you always say that. I'd already put Lipstick on our list of movies to watch.
But
then it was like
we got to put it on our list.
And I was like, oh, plate of shrimp. But yeah, no, it's yeah, I mean, they're all really interesting because it's nice just to have people that engaged in movies again. Like, don't want to jump the gun, but that's definitely one of the reasons why we picked our topic today, that it's just really lovely to see people, whether or not they like the movie, it's just actually have an opinion one way or the other. And then like, even if it's differing opinions, I think you get to such exciting places just being like into the experience.
You guys touched on two things that Roger and Quentin really wanted. One, he really wanted Quentin specifically really wanted people to be able to listen without having seen the movies. He was like, this should be for people that have seen it and haven't seen it. So it's like a good mix. Like, you don't have to watch the movies before. And that's why we don't put out the list of titles before, because Quentin's like, you should just be able to listen. And then if you can find it, great. And the other, which is my dad's goal, is that like you can have different opinions about movies and you can fight tooth and nail, like Moonraker.
Totally.
We still fight about that.
Oh.
And there's another one.
pigeons.
There's another one. Honestly, I don't think it's in there, but I started clapping at Quentin. Like, I got so into it with him. Like, we were arguing. I started clapping. Like, but then at the end of the day, you can go downstairs and eat toy and be like, hey, let's watch a movie, and like we're all good. Like, you don't have to die on that hill.
The thing that because look, I grew up as a video store kid and then a video store clerk myself, and like when Roger and Quentin came up through the ranks, that was like, it was one of us. Like you can watch every movie in the video store and it could amount to something. And but at the same time, part of the reason why I was a Blockbuster Video employee.
There's no shame in that.
I know.
There's
I
no
used to
shame.
think it was like there used to be a time
cool
where
again
people were
now.
like, Blockbuster. What about Hollywood Video, man? No, it was like 3 months in a row I was Employee of the Month. And the reason why, I know, I wore that proudly. But the reason why was because when everybody was trying to hawk all of the new releases, I was the one, because they would keep all the stuff in the center, like all the library titles. And it was like, oh, I'm so sorry, Scream 2's not in or Casino's not in, but have you seen Mean Streets?
So you were literally doing like video archives at Blockbuster. You were doing God's work.
Yes. So like listening, part of the reason why I loved even being there was when someone would come up and say, there's no Scream 2, what do I do? And I'm like, but have you seen Friday the 13th Part 5?
Oh, wow.
And then
that was the first movie Joe and I went to go see together at the New Beverly.
Ooh.
It was like Part 5.
Friday.
It was a matinee on a Friday.
February 2nd, 2 p.m. show.
Oh,
Yeah, of course I remember it. And it was sold out. And
it was one of my first LA movie going experiences at all. And I couldn't believe like that there were that many people, well, first of all, out of
that
work.
Many out of work screenwriters.
able to go to a Friday matinee, but also that were really just so into the movie. Like they were really like, I've always had
Quoting
a soft
it.
spot for Part 5, and it was like amazing just to see that many people as into it. Yeah, I might have fallen in love with a lot of things that day,
Yay.
especially the New Bev and LA.
And we've gone there ever since.
And yeah.
Actually, it's going to kind of segue into my question before
Welcome
our topic.
to the tangent
Yeah, right.
segue into our conversation.
That's like
Hour
my
later.
family. Welcome to Family Avery, basically. How did you guys meet?
On a Santa Monica, you're probably much. I'm always just like on the pier.
Yeah.
At an industry party, makes it way.
Let me take you back.
You make it more romantic.
to 2019.
Yeah, wow,
It was
yeah, right before the pandemic.
So one of our friends, Graham Skipper, has this like pop-up bar, like pop-up party experience that's very horror related called the Rated R Bar.
So industry.
And
it's not just a party, it's a party
It's
experience.
an experience.
Yes.
And he's actually having one very soon. And he was doing a Halloween party, and it was on the Santa Monica Pier, and he'd asked me to be one of the judges. And I'm like, well, can I get in for free? Is there food? Why not? And
Free and food, the two very important things in life.
and
Yes.
a very good friend, a very good mutual friend of ours, Elsa, who I knew from England, had DM'd me and said, my friend Becca's coming into town. Just if she shows up, please make her feel welcome. And I'd never met her before at all. But it literally was, and this is a fun moment, but I have a moment where it was like when you go down the ramp, there's that like inside, like where the carousel is.
Yeah.
And we were there, and literally Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson parted ways in slow motion, and there was Becca, and she came right
You
towards
had like
me.
your John Hughes movie moment.
100%. And it was in slow motion. Well, then it became a John Woo movie, and doves started flying in the background and everything.
A rainbow appeared and like confetti and
that
like
was
sparkles.
it. That was it. It was that's where we met, and then
Well,
immediately
we were just friends for a long time.
Yeah.
It just sort of became, it was just very easy straight away to talk to.
But
And we were both the same kid, basically. Like, because like we met and we were both just like 12-year-olds.
immediately we started talking movies because I knew
Yeah.
that she loved movies, and obviously I kind of like them as well.
Just a little.
Just a little. But it was the back and forth of like, did you ever see this movie? Did you ever see this movie? And not like we were testing each other, but there's something fun, a fun challenge when you start bringing up like, okay, of course, you know all the greats, but what about this Carl Reiner movie? And what about that Tobe Hooper flick? And then when they go like, oh, I fucking love that movie, you're like, okay, all right, this cat's cool. And then, but it wasn't until later that we became a couple. Friday the 13th Part 5 was definitely like one of the impetus moments, because
That was
didn't we
an
go see
important-
Fart Barf that night?
Wait, Fart Bar?
Oh, one of the greatest bands of all time.
Wow, we're plugging so many
I know,
local
right?
LA.
While talking about Seven Brides and Seven Brothers, we went
Oh
to a
yeah,
show.
that was one of my favorite Howard Keel movies. So like I just was so excited that you liked Seven Brides for Seven
And there's
Brothers.
this band called Fart Barf, which is a kind of a super group synthwave band where it's a bunch of
Perform in
guys.
simian costumes
It's a
and
bunch of guys
NASA
in
outfits.
NASA outfits and simian costumes that you don't know who they are. They could be fucking Foo Fighters for all we know.
Yeah, I want to like because we have a friend who knows who like it is.
I have a friend who knows
But, like,
Fart Barf.
Yeah, well connected here. But she's like, oh, I can tell you like who the secret band is, and I really don't want to know.
I don't wanna
because
know.
in my head,
That
it's like a
ruins
super.
it.
Don't pull the curtain back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Like, they could
but
be Foo
essentially
Fighters.
it was over our mutual love for all movies
Yeah.
and Fart Barf.
Being outside of the Fart Barf concert, singing "Bless Your Beautiful Hide" to each other. Yeah, it was just we just got on.
Yep. But it started out as friends and then kind of blossomed from there.
Oh, I love that. It's like the romance LA story that like I yearn for myself. So
Yeah, without talking signs on the 10, like in the LA story.
Oh, I love it. Now, as always, my guest gets to bring their topic to the mic. Why don't y'all tell us what your topic is and why you decided to choose it?
Do you like to take
Would
it?
you? No, you can if you want.
Well, it was, I guess technically, I'm trying to do what you said to do and actually keep it in one sentence.
If you don't keep it in one sentence, you can let it go.
Yeah, well, like I do. So it's litmus test movies.
Yes.
Like movies where you'll bring it to a date or to a party and you'll see how the people react to it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's
Properly,
the most succinct way of.
like for example, when we first met. Like when we started to talk to each other about movies, there were these movies, like I said before, that we wanted to kind of suss each other out in terms of taste. So these are movies that I know, this is actually derived from Quentin, because I remember when I was first starting to date, I was like, how am I going to like let people know how nerdy I am with certain movies?
Oh, yeah.
And when
You
Quentin
have to.
said in
Yeah.
the
Oh my
mid 90s,
gosh.
he
It's
was
just-
like, it's Rio Bravo, I got to show a girl that, and if she doesn't like that movie, she's out.
I do want to caveat that I do think that I've become slightly less judgmental with age. I hope so, because I used to be very that.
I've
like
gotten
I was
more. I've gotten more.
No, I've tried. I used to be very in my like late teens, early 20s. I was very like Q in that like the pilot episode of The Next Gen where he's just like every like humanity is on the chopping block. Like if someone didn't love a movie that I loved, it was like that person was dead to me. But now I do try now to be a bit kinder to that person. But it's an interesting topic because your relationships to like any media, like a movie, a book, or a song, like that evolves as you change as a person. Like every time you rewatch something, you're not watching like. That's why I'm so happy Letterboxd has the rewatch function. Otherwise, it'd be like half of the movies on my Letterboxd would not be there. Because I think every time you rewatch a movie, you're having a new experience with it, the same way that you do with people. And every time you watch a movie that you love with someone that you love, especially, like you get to experience it in a whole different way. And it's like just it's a very interesting way of exploring your relationship to a whole bunch of things.
I think part of it also is when you have a relationship that's either long-standing or burgeoning, it's developing. You want to share these movies with that person. You want it like Becca was saying, like there's a version of a movie that you watch by yourself, and then there's a version of the movie where you're watching it like with someone else. And I've seen so many movies that I've loved, and then I've shown them to someone, and then I go, oh God, do I hate this movie now because they didn't like, what
Bachelor
was going
Party
on?
is a bad movie.
All right,
Stop trying to make
look,
Bachelor Party happen.
Bachelor Party was a product of its time, and Tom Hanks is a
My
godsend.
sister was visiting, and she was like, ooh, let's put on Bachelor Party tonight. And both Joe.
Bad move.
Yeah, Joe like was steadily getting cringier and cringier.
I forgot.
As the movie progressed, and the full 80s-ness.
I forgot how misogynist that movie is, and it did not play well that night.
And I'm very one of those people who like, there's like a Joseph Losey movie called The Go-Between where he's like, well, going back in time is like going to a foreign like planet. And that is true. When you watch an old film, you should totally contextualize it always. Like I love watching old movies from, the 1930s. It's like my happy place. And you have to
hold
constantly...
on. Were we supposed to turn the fucking timer on?
We haven't done it yet. So
All right.
Oops.
Yeah. All right.
You guys are in
so that's our topic is Litmus test movies. Back to you,
In
Gala.
one sentence. But before we get into the topic, it's time for our commercial break.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And we're back.
You heard it here. Litmus test movies. I have 30 minutes on the clock, and our time officially starts now.
Oh,
you guys
God.
are in a very special club with Eli Roth, who did not also.
And you even said like,
God.
try not to let it be
Please
too long.
just interrupt us. Like,
No,
honestly.
because I love it. I love it because you said something that was really important, Becca, was that something I've struggled with dating, and especially like guys in Los Angeles who like movies, is if they don't like a movie that I like, I'm like, I don't know about you anymore. And when I was dating my ex, he was like, Gala, like, we don't have to like the same things and we can still like each other.
Oh, fuck that guy.
And yeah, exactly. I'm going to be honest.
So condescending.
Exactly. Because I realize it's not that they don't like it. It's that they don't understand it. And then by proxy, they don't understand me.
Right.
And maybe I just like adopt media as like part of my personality. But like when I show someone like, for example, Starstruck, which you guys just watched.
Yeah.
It's
Oh my
so
God. I
good.
can't believe that's one of your favorite.
one of my
we literally
favorite
watched
movies.
it this week because it was a New Year's movie, and I've loved Jillian for like ever. And I've been so excited because I love musicals are like a big thing for me.
If you
I
have
like to
musicals
say-
and 80s in the same like realm, I'm in. And
Exactly.
I can't believe I haven't
and in
seen this movie.
Australia as well.
And I actually have the vinyl soundtrack of that.
That's
and I
amazing.
played it
Can
last
I
night
have
after we
it?
talked about it. Yeah, it's amazing. And when she does My Belief, I Believe in You, in the movie, she's really sad singing it because like her band has kind of abandoned her. Like when
Yeah.
she's singing on the.
Wait, was that the Swingers?
No, it's like when she goes on TV.
Yeah.
And she's like, and they're trying
Oh,
to
yeah,
right.
the awkward.
but on the vinyl, she sings it like she means it.
Oh, wonderful.
And it's
interesting.
it's
So
such like
cool.
a nice like difference. But I love that movie. And so like when I show it to someone and like maybe they don't like it, but like if they get it and they're like, okay, I get why this is cool. That's okay. But if they're like, oh, this movie's really bad, I'm really like, I don't know if you and I can like hang out anymore.
I mean, movies are reflections of us.
Yeah.
And the movies that we love and that that we kind of turn into part of us, they become part of our DNA. So to allow someone into that, like, I guess, inner sanctum of who you are as a person, those movies are extensions of that. So that was one, like, for example, we can talk about our first
official date.
our first official
which
date.
happened here in these Hallowed
Yes, in the
halls.
lovely Ariescope
Yeah.
Pictures.
So just like for preface, you guys, we are in Ariescope right now, and I've never seen as many cool collectibles. I don't think I say that a few times. Like this place is really cool. This place is really cool.
Yeah. This is
you
technically
can
Adam
lose
Green's
many
shrine.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
well,
really
shout out to Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for-
yeah. We there's a huge flat screen TV in the middle of the room,
Not a
and
bad
like a
one,
lot of. Did we get food? Yeah, we got
Yeah.
burritos,
Yep.
and we both decided to bring a movie, and we had no idea what the other person was bringing, and we were just gonna
potluck double feature.
yeah, exactly, potluck double feature. And I brought what ended up being the A picture, My Man Godfrey from 1936, a Gregory LaCava movie starring William Powell and Carol Lombard. And
Which I had never seen before.
Yes. Yeah, we actually hadn't seen either of each other's
Yep.
movies before, so that worked out.
But it was
what
also.
did you bring, Joe?
Well, I brought the Lucille Fulci classic New York Ripper.
Oh, and what a wild potluck double feature that is.
wonderful.
In retrospect,
Two great things that
arguably,
taste great together.
like,
Yeah.
it's like chocolate and peanut butter, in a way.
I mean, they're both New York movies.
Yeah.
With the interiors of both definitely not shot in New York. So if you wanted to,
We can
link
find
them-
enough parallels, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, before recording, we just found the greatest double feature I think of all time, which would
Yes.
be John McAnme McClane.
Oh my gosh.
And that is the reason why is because, well, there is an ET shrine right behind Becca that Adam is a bit of a fan of
little
ET,
bit.
the extraterrestrial. And then Gala had revealed that she's more of a McAnme person.
Which we also tried to do on Video Archives, but my dad really wanted to. I wanted to do ET versus
I
McAnme.
really want you to do
Oh my
that so
God.
bad. Can I tell your dad, please make that happen?
Yeah,
It has to happen.
I wish. I pray.
And then you have to do the research about the infamous
deleted scene.
Oh my
scene
gosh,
that will
the
destroy childhoods.
alternate
There's a
ending.
reason why they cut it out because it's a childhood
It's
destroyer.
amazing.
But
It's the best.
that movie came out the same weekend as Die Hard. So Phil from New Bev, if you're listening to this now, which I know you are, a John McAnme claim double feature should be in order for next Christmas.
Wow.
It can
Yeah,
happen.
that would be a really good Christmas.
It's a really good double feature.
Yeah.
But there is something about the pairing of movies because we do movie nights at least once a month.
Yeah,
where,
that's
like,
what I call like a true date night now. Because
Yeah.
like if we go out at all, or if other people are involved, like if it's in any way less like sweatpantsy, then it's not a real date night. Like a real date night for me, like the perfect date night is like we drive 20 minutes out of our way into the mountains to find our favorite takeout pizza.
Elsie Imports
Yeah,
in La
shout out.
Crescenta. like
Shout out
the
to
most
Elsie.
random fucking pizza place that's actually the best pizza place in town.
I
We
mean,
get
the
pizza
best
from there.
takeout, I would
Yes.
say. There are other places that do fancy schmancy like LA pizza, but that's like you have to sit down and anyway. So there you get that pizza with a side of meatballs and wings, and then you decide what cocktail you're having to complement the movie, and then you start a movie marathon. And for us, that usually starts around 6 p.m., especially if Joe Bob's on. You have to get back in time for Joe Bob, and then can just end up like going
12
until
hours.
Yeah, like honestly, until like 4 or 5 a.m. the next day. I mean, we don't have kids, so just a caveat that probably helps.
A little bit
just
easier.
a very obnoxious but beautiful dog, so he will just glower at us from his bed.
Do you know
until we go to
Fernando
bed.
D'Elia movies?
Yes.
So
Oh
our,
my
our
gosh.
dog's name is Rocco
Rocco
Musco,
Musco.
from Caliber 9.
From Caliber 9.
Yeah.
Because he's a little bit brain damaged, and if he meets a new person, he's incredibly sweet and loyal once he decides that you're like his buddy. But if he meets someone for the first time, do you remember at the end of that movie when the Rocco Musco character like is like, how dare you kill him? And like, I don't want to spoil it for
the
anyone who
dog.
hasn't seen Caliber 9, but that's very apt for him. But anyway, back to I'm like conscious of the 30 minutes.
No, but this is good though.
Okay.
But that
Litmus
was
test.
that night was
yes.
so important to us because Adam likes to joke all the time. Joe's an encyclopedia of movies. He's seen every movie. I have not seen every fucking movie.
That's
And
like me too. Like people ask me like, "Oh, have you seen this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." And you think I would, but I haven't yet. There's a lot to get through.
I have a lot of blind spots, and I know Becca does as well. And there's something about
We complete each other.
it's knowing that you can show a movie that you have an affinity for, and not feel
Just
like
not
you're going to get judged. Yes.
That's the real thing, because we've definitely disagreed, especially when you're bringing movies from your childhood into the picture.
Garbage
because
Pail Kids, the movie, did not go over so well. And I don't fault you for that.
It was just very. I mean, I did enjoy it in a kitschy kind of a way. I didn't.
Maybe not Hot to Trot.
Yeah. I can see why as a
That
child.
movie is a great film. though,
Yeah,
so.
I did think
Caddyshack
sometimes.
too.
Well, I have my own movies from my own childhood that I'm like obsessive about, that I can
Like,
maybe,
what's one of them?
Like Polar Express maybe is probably where I can see why
I've gotten on the train
adults,
since then.
as it were, can maybe not like it as much because I'm watching it through the veneer of this intense like childhood nostalgia. But like, it's still important to know that you can bring those kind of films into the picture as well, like those kind of childhood. I had like a really intense love of Independence Day when I was a kid as well, and like will literally like recite the entire speech that President Whitmore does, like
When we were at the New
verbatim.
Beverly last time, I had to like hold her down.
No, you did.
She was like, "I'm getting up and doing it." No, I'm like,
Well,
"Don't
that
do
was
it."
like me at Phantom. When we were at Phantom, I was like
Rocky.
rocking.
I'm a
I was
Rocky
like rocking
girl.
and see, I'm a Phantom girl.
Yeah.
I'm a Phantom of the Paradise.
I don't think we've ever seen that in the theater.
Oh my god,
Phantom,
it was.
I don't think
I
so.
was. I was like vibrating. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. Like the energy was so
Like,
electric.
so
it
intensely
was
happy.
so intense, and it was amazing.
I
But
do love Phantom. It's just Rocky was the one I saw first, I guess, and I have
see,
that childhood.
I'm a beefhead. Like I love Garrett Graham so
love
much
Garrett
because
Graham.
Garrett Graham. Well, also because I'm a huge Trekkie, and like you cited Star Trek earlier.
Oh yeah.
Garrett Graham's episode Death Wish and Voyager, where he plays Q, the other Q who wants to
Yeah,
die.
wow.
He's so good in
So
it.
sad.
And that's also like why I love Brad Dourif. Brad Dourif plays Suitor in like a 2-episode arc.
Yeah.
He played a lot of.
Yeah, he played a lot. And then like of course Jeffrey Combs is like in like all of Star Trek.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's
I
like
forgot that Jeffrey was in Star
Well,
Trek.
it's because they didn't remaster. We were going through all of the original and next gen Star Treks, and then we got to DS9, which I think is super underrated. I love DS9. Fucking Garrick is amazing.
oh yeah, and also like I just saw Dirty Harry.
Yes.
And
oh my
his-
god, it's the same.
Yeah,
and
that's
he
right.
played the Scorpio
and he played
killer. in
Scorpio,
that.
and I was like,
It's
when I
so
saw him, I
cool.
was like, who is that? That looks really familiar. And I'm like, oh my god, it's Elam Garrick. Oh my god.
I know, because that's a beautiful, like him and Dr. Bashir's. Anyway, whatever. The timer going off is like
No,
trying.
because for me also like Star Trek I guess would be like a litmus for me.
Yeah.
Because like I grew up like that was my church. Like my mom,
Yes.
and dad
My
decided to teach
my
us.
parents
Was
were
there a line in
very
the sand
early
at all
introduction.
about like Star Trek versus Star Wars?
No, there's no line in our house. We watched both of them. Like the way I was always taught was that they need each other. Like the original series helped get Star Wars into the zeitgeist, and then Star Wars helped get TNG back into the zeitgeist.
That's true.
And so it's like an ebb and pull, and like they can both exist simultaneously,
Yeah.
and you can be fans of both. And when people draw that hard line in the sand, it's because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And that's how
You
I
can
feel.
like Elvis and the Beatles. You don't have to choose.
You don't have to
between
choose.
Again, back to Litmus. It's like very like when people just don't even try to engage or don't even try to get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it starts to be like disheartening. I guess.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I think it's less like if they don't like something. If someone doesn't like something, like for example, I saw Poor Things. I really hated Poor Things. I'm not going to go into it on mic why I hate it. I'll talk to you about it after because I don't want to eat up time. But like I hated it. But like I can understand why someone would like it. And that's okay. But like just like it was not for me. But like there's a difference like when someone's like, oh, I hate it. I can't even discuss. And I have a few movies that like I know that if someone likes it, like Neon Demon. Is like this one movie. I felt so bad about myself after I watched Neon Demon.
I don't think it's a feel good movie. Of the
It's
summer
not
kind of
though.
movie.
But like Marcel the
Did come out in
Shell.
summer. Oh my god,
I
love
do
Marcel.
not like Marcel the Shell. I'm
it's so
I'm also I'm a hater though. I literally sit in seat H8 at the AMC because it spells hate. Oh my god! I'm not kidding. That's like my favorite seat in the theater.
I'm gonna look for you now
Yeah.
in that scene.
No, and then my guess is always H7 because it's like heaven. So it's like if I do like heaven and hell basically when we're at the movies.
Wait. Okay. So in your litmus test movies, like I want to hear what's one of them.
Okay, Frantic is a really good example.
The Polanski
The
one?
Polanski movie.
Wow.
So I saw Frantic for the first
Deep
time.
pull.
So I
Holy
saw
shit.
Frantic for the
Yeah.
first time, and I was like, this is the most romantic movie I have ever seen in my life. I love the genre of husbands that love their wives. The first Mad Max falls into
Yeah.
that genre also because like he never looks back because his wife and baby have been murdered.
Oh.
And
Can
so
I
it's like,
recommend Possession?
yeah, no, I should add that to the list. I've been told several times, but like with my ex that also told me, hey, we don't have to like the same things. I begged him. I was like, please watch Frantic with me. Like this is the most romantic movie ever made. And we started watching it and 20 minutes and he got up to do the dishes.
Oh,
I know. And that's like when I was like, oh,
but that's
okay.
neat. That's like
I know. I was like,
You
oh,
have to give a movie a shot.
Yeah,
especially
just
one
try.
When,
Come
like,
on,
we
man.
watch plenty of movies where it's like casually we put it on the list. We go to Cinephile down in Santa Monica all
Yeah,
the
that's
time.
plenty of films
there's-
where we've differed.
Exactly. But like you have to give them a shot. You have to see it all the way through to
And also be
delineate.
willing to re-watch something because you will just find like Poor Things. I would recommend like coming over for a movie marathon night and watching it like as a hangout because we like our movie marathons are much more like hangout vibes.
Yeah, we try not to watch first run movies for us.
Yeah,
We
it'll
like
be
to watch
maybe the
movies where-
first movie
yeah.
that we like, the movie that's starting us off sometimes. But it's nice to know around what like the kind of vibes I guess that you're gonna set yourself up for by like if you've already seen the movie, then you know kind of the emotional arc that you're about to take.
Yeah.
So it's nicer to kind of have the Poor Things. I feel like would be better off almost like there's a lot of like Buñuel movies. I feel like
Yeah.
he's so much better understood if you like watch him with
If
like
you've
a
gotten
bottle
through the
of
plot,
wine
yes.
and you're like
yeah, it's all about setting. And, like,
Yeah.
who you're watching with, who you are when you first watch a
Mm-hmm.
movie. My other big litmus test, and I've said this on the podcast before, is Rules of Attraction. And like that one,
Yeah,
'cause-
but do you feel like you're a little biased on
oh,
that?
I'm totally biased on
No.
it. But it's like I grew up partially also on the set. And so it's like I grew up with the movie. My dad made it. It's like when I watched, if someone doesn't like and understand that movie, I actually feel like personally like they don't understand me.
That still has
Because it's my father's art.
Exactly. And the thing is, like with that movie, aside from your personal connection to it,
Yeah.
like for me, I grew up with Brett's work.
Oh, yeah.
We've gone out to dinner with Brett
might be
many
one of
times.
my
I
favorite.
love Brett.
Oh yeah.
And
Brett's
gotten
amazing.
very drunk with him.
Yeah.
before.
Oh God, he was one of the first. He was maybe the first person we actually went out to meat after the pandemic.
Yeah, that son of-
like to
that
a
son of a gun,
restaurant.
right?
And Joe and I hadn't drunk in public. Like we'd just been making our pathetic little screwdrivers at home. So we hadn't had like a restaurant mixed cocktail. And Brett is. He likes his martinis
Yes.
very dry. And we had like, I think 5 cocktails and we thought we'd been drugged.
By the end of the night, when we got back to the house, it was like Inception.
And it was
where
just
my God.
alcohol. It was just.
She's in one room going, "Where are you?" And I'm like climbing on the walls,
Yeah.
going, "These olfactions were strong."
Oh my gosh.
But
I love
Rules,
Brett.
But Rules of Attraction still to this day has one of the best split screens of all time.
Oh yeah, no, the split screen is
That,
like
And they're
I've
hard.
studied that, but I also like what your dad was able to capture is something that, look, I love American Psycho. I love Mary Herron. I love the, like any, I mean, I have a nostalgic feel for Lesson Zero, but I know it's not one of Brett's favorites, and not a lot of other people.
My dad used to not like it, and as with age, he said it's grown on him.
It grows on you. But Rules of Attraction, like that's one of the first times that I've ever, and I am hard to make cringe, but that razor blade scene.
Oh yeah.
And fucking Elijah Wood was sitting in front of me and watching him go, I'm done, and he left.
Wow, yeah.
Well, he came back. To be fair, he came back.
No, but it's a very intense movie and it's a very intense sequence.
Very intense.
But for me,
But how do you frame that, though?
well, that's the thing. So like, I showed one guy that I had been dating like when I was like a lot younger, and he just like didn't get it. And so now I don't show guys.
Yeah, I was about to say, Barry, ask what this ex said about that movie.
It's a different guy, because I did not show the most recent guy that I was dating that, because I was like, you know what? Like, if they don't get it, I know it's over. Like, I need someone that understands it, because then they don't understand my father.
Wow,
It's very personal. Yeah. So it's like, I don't like to watch it with friends. I don't like to watch it with like boyfriends, because I'm like, it's just a very personal, and I feel like I'm being judgmental for someone if they don't understand it.
Especially for, I think, watching that movie the first time. I've that's one of the things that I've tried to get better at with it, is that like for example, the Coen brothers were always a huge part of like my upbringing, and I've always thought like if people didn't understand their sense of humor, then they didn't understand my sense of humor. But I really do think that they are, I think, like same as Rules of Attraction, you do kind of benefit from time passing and rewatching films like that. Like the Coen brothers as well. Like they are very specific.
Oh, they're so specific.
And
also, to full disclosure, I don't know if I understand the Coen brothers. Like my dad always says, like, people are going to miss the Coen brothers so bad when they're gone. Yeah. Because like even like a bad Coen brothers movie is a good Coen brothers movie.
Well, it's still unique.
It's still
quite like
Lady
them.
Killers since they
I
first
know.
came out.
I love the original Lady Killers.
You have it?
The Alec Guinness
No, I love that
love
one.
it. Oh my gosh.
When watching that one and going,
That
what
era.
are the Coen brothers going to do with this one?
I
And
know.
I was like, I don't
Just
know.
Alec Guinness in general was what a
Oh, he's so fun, and the color in that movie,
it's unbelievable.
It's really, really
Go
gorgeous.
with I'm trying to remember the name of the horse's mouth. I'm trying to remember the name of that director, but he's like Alec Guinness plays this kind of artist.
Oh, that's right.
Back
That's
to
70s one.
it's
What's
earlier.
our time, by the way?
Yeah,
Are
I
we
know.
allowed to ask
Are we allowed to
No,
ask the
you're
time?
fine.
Oh,
Oh my
No, you're fine.
Oh, son of a bitch. I should have sent one
I know.
too.
Joe and I both grew up in households with siblings where, like, if you didn't just shout over everyone and, like...
That's why we're terrible at parties.
Yeah,
We
we
talk
just
over each
talk,
other.
but we don't see it as rude, like, when we interrupt people and just talk. Like, 'cause that's how we both learn to have a conversation.
You guys have a good cadence with each other, though.
But that's what's part of like movie night and even litmus test movies, when you can have these experiences with someone, and you don't have to like. There have been plenty of movies that I've shown you, mostly 80s movies, where you've been like,
Was there a movie that you were afraid to show her?
yes. And we just talked about this because, of course, we were like, what are we going to talk about? I have a very, very close affinity for Carl Reiner's Summer School.
Okay.
And now part of that is because I was Chainsaw. I am Chainsaw. Like I am that geeky guy that had Fangoria in his, in his locker room and everything. But there's something about the comedy, the very particular comedy stylings that is in that movie. And the Shout Factory disc came out, and I remember getting it, and you'd never seen it before. And I was very nervous showing you that movie, because I like, from first moment to last, I think that movie is just comedy genius. And it was like maybe 20 minutes in, and you laughed at something so fucking random. It's not even a joke. It was just a random thing that some character did. I think Mark, like, it was a moment where like Mark Harmon hands the one, like the big black student who's like, I need to go to the bathroom. And he hands him something, and then like he came back and you laughed. And it's like such a small moment, but you laughed, and I'm like, oh, thank God.
But you said, like, for you, the big moment was when, like last summer, we were starting to program our first, like, summer fest movie marathon. This is just us in our living room, by the way.
Do you guys like program ahead of time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
usually. We we go with the flow, but we like to have a big,
a cachet of like
good,
a list of movies that we can
a good switchboard.
Oh, maybe that one next. Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it was like around summertime, and I was like, oh, we should summer school like that. We need to put, like, I brought it up. I was like, oh, that needs to be on the list.
Yeah.
And Joe was like, oh, thank God. This works.
And on the flip side of that, at least for me, because I want
really
you to go
loved
too.
Summer School, yeah. It was such
There's another movie that I have a very close connection to, which is Alex Winter's Freaked.
Oh.
And I thought that was going to be a fucking
Did that just play at
slam.
the Bev?
It just did.
Yeah, it just
Have you ever
did.
seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
It's
and also I haven't
bonkers.
seen Gremlins 2 either.
Oh, I love
know.
Gremlins too.
I know.
All right.
Well,
I'm waiting
Christmas
for like
is
the right
over
moment.
now.
Well, I can watch.
Yeah, but the
No,
thing is,
you've
Gremlins
lost
2. No, Gremlins 2 is not a Christmas movie, so you can watch it
Oh, I
anytime.
guess.
Oh, okay,
That's
but
true, I just
I
always
watch
watch it.
movies any time of year.
Okay, that's-
I have
that's-
We
no.
do, but
I have no
I'm not going to
superstition.
go, let's watch Die Hard tonight in April, you know?
Oh, I do that.
Really?
Yeah, well, like for me, like because I just love like if I want to watch Die Hard, I'm gonna watch Die Hard. If I want to watch Jesus Christ Superstar, I'm gonna
It has
watch
to be
Jesus Christ.
Easter.
If I want to watch
No,
Night of the
I do watch
Lepus
it on Easter though.
in December,
Yeah.
I'm going to watch Night of the Lepus in December.
No,
Leprechaun
all of you are
Leprechaun year
wrong.
round.
Well, yeah, I'm a leprechaun all year round kind of guy.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it
but
doesn't have to be
Freaked
big
was one
parties.
that I thought like nailed it, slam dunk. It's going to be great, and you didn't really respond to it, you know. But that
I only watched it once, and it is one of those movies that is so. I would like to revisit it now, knowing what's about to happen, because I think I was just
that
so,
movie, it's like an airplane or like a Zaz movie where there's so many jokes happening.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, it
trying to
becomes
keep up
too
with
much.
it the first time.
I think the thing that litmus test movies for us, and I think from the beginning, I think for just anybody, it creates, and I'm sorry to use such a buzzy word, but it creates an algorithm. From like, at least you know that
You like
we can
this,
watch.
so you like this.
Yes. So like when I knew, like I think one of the first conversations we ever had was like, there's people who love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1, and then there's people who have seen and also love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Not everybody loves Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It is a wildly different tone of movie. And I know so many people who are like, well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a fucking masterpiece. Oh, fuck that Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 movie.
they just hate fun.
Exactly. So that's us. But when we started talking about it, I almost didn't believe you because I thought like, and this happens all the time too, where you're like, oh my God, I love that movie. And then in the back of your head going, I've never seen it. Or I hate that movie, but I want to.
No, I look at people with the dead, so I'm like, yeah.
Like, yeah. I haven't seen Frantic. I don't know if you could tell when you mentioned it. I was
You
like,
should watch Frantic because
I've
really
recorded
like
it
it.
in my
Sexy.
head.
well,
Harrison
it's sex.
Ford.
Okay, it's because Harrison Ford loves his wife, and because Polanski loves Emmanuel Sagnier, because they're like they've fallen in love. It's his wife at the time.
What
What
do you think of
era
Yeah,
of
it was like
Polanski is it?
87, 88?
86 maybe. I don't
Yeah,
know.
it was like mid to late 80s.
I don't know.
remember-
I have
just
the
remember
poster
the
in my house.
poster-
I have
the
I
poster
have
where
the
he's like
Japanese.
this.
No, I have the Japanese poster in
What's
my
the
house.
Japanese poster?
It's like it's when they're hanging off the rooftop
Oh,
and like he's holding on to
wow.
her, but it's a red background.
We have to put that on the
nice.
list.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah,
That's a good
totally.
one.
Yeah, no, that's
But
good.
wait, so what do you think of Bitter Moon though?
I haven't seen Bitter Moon.
Ooh.
I know.
That's another one where he is not fetishizing Emmanuel, but
Yeah.
you can tell they're going through stuff.
Okay.
In a great way, though.
Then I gotta watch. Okay, I have to say this about Harrison Ford really quick because I like love thinking about this. But when you look at Harrison Ford's filmography, because I love Peter Weir also, and then like
yeah.
Mosquito
Love
Coast.
him.
You can look at Harrison Ford before Mosquito Coast and after Mosquito
That
Coast.
fucking blonde hair.
He
that
goes
he had. Oh,
crazy after Mosquito Coast because he does Working Girl next. And if you see I think it's called Working Girl.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you see his energy in Working Girl, it's like he's still
coming down off the high of
off
Mosquito
off
Coast.
of Mosquito Coast.
It
And
works for
Oh,
him.
it's fine.
It's
That's
so
totally fine.
it's so great though. Is there a movie that you guys have like really argued about, like that has caused an argument, like when you guys show it to each other?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's so good. That's such a
I don't
relief.
think
Yeah,
so. I
I
don't
think
think
I
we've
got-
ever vehemently gone like, no. Polar Express the first
Well-
time because you
But
came
the
from
thing
Polar
is I
Express at
would
a different
also,
time than I did.
yeah, I would also like if it's a movie that I have that childhood. Like I mentioned the Rugrats movie the other night and said that would be fun.
That's really good though,
I love-
actually.
right?
The
Thank you,
Rugrats movie is
Gala.
actually really good.
Okay,
Yeah.
maybe the
Wait, they
Rugrats
go to
movie.
like Europe, don't they?
Yeah, they
that
like
one's actually
it's
really
the one.
fun.
And
Why do I feel like the minority here?
I
There's
used
at
to
least
play
someone
the
listening
Rugrats
right now
video
that
game,
knows.
like on like
oh
my
my
Mac.
gosh, yeah. Oh my god. Oh my yeah, the huge fat desktop computer.
I used to play the
I
Rugrats
had
video
Time
that.
is getting eaten away over
Yeah.
the fucking Rugrats movie right now.
Anyway, I mentioned that while doing something dumb in the kitchen. Oh no, because they had the song like ooh, ee, ooh. Oh, I don't want to
Ting,
get
ting,
you.
walla,
Yeah,
walla, bing, bang.
I'm getting in trouble. It's copyright. But that's in the movie, and that was the first time I'd ever heard that song because I watched it when I was like, I don't know, 5. And so I fully appreciate that because I saw it when I was 5. I have a different relationship to that movie than Joe does. But you should still be willing. to give it a chance and add it to the movie marathon. I've never told Joe that he can't add anything. Hot to Trot, Caddyshack 2. I've been very lenient.
Is there one movie besides the Rugrats movie that you really want to show him? That you haven't yet?
I feel like I'm going to be kicking myself like in another 20 minutes where I'm going to be like, oh yeah, of course.
Well, then you better show it to him.
I mean, Ernst Lubitsch, I'm a little nervous to show you now because I showed you a very early Lubitsch and you fell asleep.
Wait, which one?
I think it was The Smiling Lieutenant.
No, it was the one with women in the title. Was it The Women?
No, that's George Cukor.
No, that's right. Yeah, there was a Lubitsch movie that was like
much later.
You even sold it on me. It's like it's only an hour long, and I was out.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, one of the earlier sound pictures in general, which they barely move the camera, but I still thought Lubitsch, being who he is, was still making some really interesting moments happen with Maurice Chevalier, and it just you felt. So now I'm nervous to like put Lubitsch on the calendar.
Also because because
I love Lubitsch.
Dude, I was practically falling asleep last night during Godzilla -1, but that's because I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And but when we're finishing a movie, don't judge me for that. I can't help it if I'm like, hey, Mom.
It's okay. It's okay. I fell asleep during when they re-released Jaws in 3D.
We love that.
It was so good. I loved seeing
Did you
that.
feel
but I
like-
did fall asleep.
Yeah, but it's especially when
I was
it's
at
a
a midnight.
movie.
I was at like a 10
if
p.m.
it's a
show.
midnight
I was at like a
movie,
10
you
p.m. show.
can't-
I was at
you
10
can't
We
p.m.
went
blame
to
yourself.
like a very, very late screening of Killers of the Flower Moon. That was the worst possible way to choose
I love the
to
movie,
see that
but
movie. I
was-
love it too, but I'm very excited to watch it at home.
I wish Quentin was able to like sneak into a screening for Marty and say like, put an intermission into that.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think long movies need intermission.
They
do.
do.
I
It's
need to use the
ridiculous.
bathroom. I
My
need to get more
butt hurts.
snacks.
Like,
Yeah.
come on. You can't just like keep it, especially like some of those cinemas.
3 hours and 40 minutes that deserves an intermission just to stretch your legs.
Yeah.
Just
I
to-
also-
it's like a movie, a play. You have to have a.
It also might actually minimize people being on their phones during movies
Yeah.
because then they can check in the
Yes.
intermission.
Yeah.
That's you know what? If they even did like intermission, you can check your phones now. Watch how
intermissions are
fast people will be like, I
lovely.
can't wait for intermission. you know?
Yeah, you go out. It's like harkens back to like an older time as well, where like you would all go outside with your like your
Smoke a
cigarette
cigarette.
break.
Yeah.
Have a drink waiting for
talk
you.
about the movie
Talk
a
about what
little
you
bit.
think. What do you think is gonna happen? Are you
Wh-
going to go
when-
back for the second half?
When they did the first screening of Hateful Eight at the DGA, I was there for it, and people like when that moment happens right before the intermission, everybody like got up and was so excited just to talk a little bit because we all wanted to know what everyone else was thinking.
Yeah.
But it was just so refreshing to have
Yeah.
that. But also, it's a long movie, so it
Yeah,
can't hurt.
I mean, it's like, but they also just used to make films almost with like knowing when the intermission point was going to be in it,
Or the
like,
real changes too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're used to that.
exactly. And I don't know. I just feel like it brought something to the storytelling, like the pacing and everything of a film that's just very unique to a very specific time that I wasn't alive for, but still feel nostalgic.
Yeah,
for.
I feel nostalgic for a lot of things that I was not around for. But Joe, do you have a movie that you really want to show her that you haven't shown yet?
Man,
I mean,
feel
Schindler's
like
List you talk about.
that's
a
the
lot.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
And Schindler's List to me, that's for the longest time. Look, I love Spielberg. I grew up with Spielberg. He was one of the first directors that I knew who a director was. And when I saw Schindler's List, that was also the summer, like that year in '93 was Jurassic Park. And then 5 months later, you had Schindler's List. And I'll never
Crazy.
forget being in that
Yeah,
theater
wow.
opening night.
That's awesome.
And I had never experienced a movie like that where the audience sat in the seats for a good 5 minutes when it was over. Like no one got up. It was silent. And for the longest time, I would say that was my favorite movie of all time. But the thing is, though, it's like it's not the type of movie that I think anyone would expect
Yeah.
of me, like to be my
you're
favorite movie of all
the
time.
Seinfeld, who's like making out with a girl.
Yeah.
in the back
When the
seat of
Seinfeld
Schindler's
episode
List.
came out, I'm like, shit. Like, I don't know if this is right.
I mean,
it's
would-
not that I'm even worried. It's just I
Well,
know
I
that
already
that's
love the film,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it. When you describe watching it at the theater, it's like that always seems like such a magical. There are so many movies that I'm desperate
That's
to
one-
see,
I hate to say
especially
it.
at something like the New Beverly, where people are turning up with an open mind,
Yeah.
like ready to be engaged. I've watched movies at the New Bev that I've seen. We just saw School of Rock there like
Yeah.
a month ago.
Oh my
And that was
God.
one of the
Love that
best
movie.
New
The
Beverly
crowd was-
crowds I've ever been in. It was
like 4 or 5
unbelievable.
standing ovations.
Yeah, well,
practically.
because I was like all set to. Oh,
Oh,
wow.
That's brutal.
That is brutal.
fucking brutal.
That is
God
brutal.
damn it.
I should have just
Don't we have
not-
closing remarks?
Yeah.
I've listened to the show. We do have closing remarks.
Because that's all the time that we have for today. But Joe and Rebecca, is there any final thought that you'd like to share with the audience?
Do you want to go first?
No, I'm still in the middle of just like
Talking about Schindler's List?
Yeah, I'm just like Mr. S is what it's all about. No, I'm trying to think.
You know, I've never seen
First, and
Schindler's
it'll inspire
List,
me.
actually.
You've never seen
I've
it?
never
cool.
seen it, no.
I smell a movie night.
I'm a
other
little,
Mr. S.
I'm a little afraid to watch it.
It's the sort of movie that I wish that they would, like the new Bev
Yeah,
would program.
Phil,
Phil, you've got a list. I will say this: cinema is such an extension of who we are, both the filmmakers, but also the people who watch them. We collect them, we absorb them, we make them part of us. And I think one of the things that I love about you and that I love about movies is that we can share these experiences, even though they're not ours, but they do become part of our DNA. And I think everybody out there who's listening right now, I know you have a litmus test movie. We all do.
And it's okay to have it.
And it is. And be proud of those movies because they are extensions of who you are. And if the person who watches the
Goes
Rugrats,
up and
the Rugrats
does the dishes
movie,
or whatever.
or Friday the 13th Part 5 or whatever it is, but embrace that and go with it and cultivate your own kind of personal algorithm with that partner.
I would definitely that's a good closing remark. Just encourage people to be open about sharing experiences with other people in general, especially with movies. And I always say about Joe, this is always so sad, but because we both grew up watching movies kind of on our own in separate parts of the world. And I didn't realize I was always happy to be alone. So I didn't realize I was lonely until I met Joe.
Oh.
And then realized this is what it's like having a best friend who can just be like, oh, let's watch this one.
That was a good me.
Yeah.
That was a
That
fantastic
was me.
Oh.
You
It
can't
was a
tell
good
the
me
difference.
too.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
So you just kind of, it is hard. Sometimes it does feel like you're putting your heart out on a line when you introduce someone to a film or anything that you care that much about.
Music, art,
But
anything
it's
like that. Yeah.
The dividends that it can pay back just by someone engaging with it on any level and how it can change your relationship, not just with that person, but with the film and evolve as a person with it.
Because that
so
movie
wonderful.
will always be the same.
It's just a really beautiful thing.
We change around that movie, you know,
Yeah.
and when you're a kid and watching a movie and then when you're an adult watching a movie, sometimes two completely different experiences. We change, we evolve. And it's nice to have those things sometimes that stay the same for us to remind ourselves also why we love them, you know.
And how far we've come.
Yes.
Yes.
That's very, very nice. Well put.
Thank you. You too.
And right before I do my wrap up, is Suitable Flesh coming out on demand soon?
Suitable Flesh is on demand now.
Okay, great.
It's on Blu-ray physical media on January 9th. So as of this
Is that
recording,
today?
that is next Tuesday. So I guess when
wow,
this drops,
Tuesday.
it'll already be out. It's on Shudder January 26th. Finally, I can announce this. There will be a VHS version of Suitable Flesh.
Oh, great.
You heard it here first, and that will be out in the spring. I am doing the pan and scan myself.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no, I did it on Mayhem as well. There is no better feeling than to actually do the
you're
pan and
doing
scan.
your own pants. I'm so excited.
It's so much fun.
I'm actually rocking back in my chair now, you guys. I'm so excited.
We did it on Mayhem because there's a difference between the cut back and forth and the slide. I thought, and I'm sure that your dad will appreciate this as well, I thought that was an actual camera technique. When you watch Rambo First Blood Part 2, there are so many moments where some drunk dude in Burbank was just sliding the camera between Sly Stallone and Richard Crenna.
You thought it was a gold black cut, but no.
No, but I did. I thought that was a choice that the director made, not
Wow,
Phil
really?
Phil in Burbank, who's just going oh shit, I got to go to the old guy. So to be able to do that deliberately is
That's amazing.
The
so
amount
much
of
fun.
movies we'll watch on the Criterion channel, they'll be The Leopard, we should watch that. And Joe will be like, God, I watched this on TV a million years ago and it did not look like this.
No, but that's the thing. It's to be
I
able to
don't
watch
think
the 4:3 version as opposed to the
Yeah.
widescreen version.
I
It's
didn't
two different
realize that
experiences.
person was in that scene.
It was so muddy back then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
Thank you so much to my lovely guests, Rebecca Howard and Joe Lynch. Rebecca is social media free, but if you want to keep up with Joe, you can do so on his Instagram or Twitter at the Joe Lynch. And make sure you check out Suitable Flesh, available streaming and then eventually on Blu-ray, which I was going to call it DVD, which I'm get dragged for by my friends.
No DVD, just Bluray. Yeah, it's crazy.
And also VHS. I'm really, really excited about that.
I'm going to sneak into
guys.
the archives and shove one of those.
I'll help.
Sweet.
I'm Gala Avery, and this has been The Gala Show.